So is the internet actually more sensitive, or are you just upset that you can't publicly be racist, homophobic, transphobic, and misogynistic? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Zhariya Smith, and I typically make commentary videos just like this one. So if you guys happen to like that, or you just love my gorgeous face, make sure to subscribe down below and hit the notification button to get notified every single time I post, which happens to be on Mondays and on Fridays. And I forgot to light my candle literally again. Am I gonna learn to not be prepared for once when I film? Just light the candle. You get some good ASMR, good vibes for the video. Hear the sound of the crackle. We're doing French country vanilla today. Trying to mellow out because this video is a rough one to get into. So the event that sparked my interest in this topic and reason why I wanted to talk about it was because a couple days ago, the Dr. Seuss Foundation decided to cease the production as well as trying to recall 6 Dr. Seuss books. And while a lot of people are saying that, oh, Gen Z and liberals are canceling Dr. Seuss, the publication made the decision literally on their own. No one called them out. Nobody pulled up old Dr. Seuss stuff and was like, look at this racist man. Then we all know that he was racist. No one was doing that. This was the publication's own personal decision to do. Basically, Philip Nell, who is a professor for Kansas State University and is the author of Was the Cat in the Hat Black? He talks about the hidden racism in children's literature and the need for more diverse books, representation, all that stuff. And he told The Guardian, which is where I'm reading this from, the 6 titles of these books were produced between 1937 to 1976, said that Dr. Seuss Enterprises has made the moral decision of choosing to not profit from the work with a racist caricature in it. If you don't know what a caricature is, I'll put a definition up on the screen. They said that they basically wanted to take responsibility. They no longer wanted this art to be portrayed, seen by thousands, millions of children across the world, and to see these caricatures, racial stereotypes in their learning. And the titles of the books that they are recalling or they're ceasing production on are And to Think I Saw It on Mulberry Street, If I Ran the Zoo, Mr. Elliot's Pool, On Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Egg Super, and The Cat's Quizzer. So there was a lot of uproar. There's a lot of people getting very angry. They're like, why would they do this? And cancel culture is so toxic, as if literally anybody has read a Dr. Seuss book over the age of 10 in the past 3 years. That aside, I think that this is an interesting topic. It brings up an interesting idea, and that's what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. Another, catalyst for this video idea is also the fact that now there is a constant battle between millennials and Gen Z, and literally right after I posted that video about millennials hating on Gen Z, this millennial made a diss track to people on Gen Z. I'm not even kidding. You can go on Twitter and find it, and this is the type of stuff that I talk about. Literally. It's so funny. But regardless, millennials are now getting upset because they believe that Eminem is being canceled by Gen Z. Now, as a person who is in Gen Z, Eminem, you're fine. In fact, Eminem cannot produce music for the rest of his life and probably still be set. Not have to work another day in his life if he did not want to. But basically, the argument that people were saying was that in his song Love the Way You Lie, he says, if she leaves again, I'm gonna tie her to this bed and set this house on fire. People are saying that's really problematic. Whereas I understand, yes, it is problematic, but that's not Eminem's worst lyric by far. And then number 2, I have yet, and I'm very in tune with the social media. That makes me sound old. I'm very in tune with social media. I'm very conscious about stuff like that. And I have yet to see a single person in Gen Z, a single young person, mention Eminem being canceled, except for millennials saying that Gen Z is saying that. So I don't know. But I personally love Eminem. In fact, for a solid 3 years of my life, I was obsessed with him. And still to this day, I listen to So Bad at least, I don't know, 3 times a week, so I like him. But what I'm saying is, people are not trying to cancel Eminem, at least to my knowledge. If they are, comment down below. If you want to cancel Eminem, let a girl know. But I think it's just very interesting, the whole, like, who's getting canceled this time, and these things that people loved when they were younger are suddenly becoming wrong, or, oh, people are so sensitive. I guess a lot of this stems from the coin term people have been using right now, which is PC, which stands for politically correct, and that basically means that it's a belief that language and practices which could offend people of marginalized groups should be eliminated. This term has been literally used since the 1980s, but recently has had like a huge resurgence, and it was before used to describe a preference for inclusive language and an avoidance of language or behavior that can be seen as excluding, marginalizing, or insulting to groups of people disadvantaged or discriminated against, particularly groups defined by ethnicity, sex, or gender. There are obviously like more groups involved in that, but I think it's specific to understand that like the goal of being politically correct is not because Jimmy is upset that his jokes are now offensive. I think it's just like, you shouldn't treat people horribly. Like, for instance, in my review about the movie Music, it's actually doing really well. If you want to watch it, I'll link it above there. But in that movie, it is so utterly offensive. Like, it's not even funny. Like, I feel like she didn't even try. That could just be me, but like, it's not politically correct to portray a nonverbal autistic person like that. You know, it's not right to like say these horrible things just to get a quick laugh because you want to be racist, so you decide to say a joke and it's like, oh, I'm not funny. Like, I'm not funny because I said blah blah blah, you know. And personally, I am a huge fan of Bo Burnham. Like, his song Ironic is chef's kiss. I grew up watching South Park, American Dad, Family Guy. I watch all of these shows literally now. I was literally watching Family Guy before I started filming this video. Like, I love watching crude, offensive, like, comedy. But the difference here is that those avenues, those TV shows, those are not in this essence meant to be offensive, but they're like satire. Like, you're not supposed to take the character seriously. You're not supposed to go out and act like Peter Griffin at all. Like, you're supposed to laugh at how dumb, like, literally the scene where Peter is like, I'm gonna paint myself black because he found out that he's like 1% black, and like Lois beat him, like domestically violenced him, and that was a funny scene. Like, that is funny. What's not funny is you calling someone a slur and then getting mad at the person saying like, don't call me a slur, you know? Same principle we got going on. And then with the whole politically correct thing that's been going on, that also leads us into the snowflake generation, which is Gen Z. Do I identify as a snowflake? No, but I was once called a snowflake because I asked a guy to not call me the N-word. This is a true story. This is literally a true story. But that aside, snowflake is snowflake is actually a derogatory term that's used for a person saying that they have an inflated sense of uniqueness, they have an unwarranted sense of entitlement, and they're overly emotional, easily offended, and are unable to deal with opposing opinions. While there are people like that, I don't think that that's the argument to be had. I don't think that because a person says you shouldn't call them a slur that makes them a snowflake. I think if a person says like, hey, I don't want you to say that thing because it's offensive, that's not being a snowflake. That's literally sticking up for yourself. That's you saying, I do not want you to talk to me like that. And then you can decide whether or not you want to be friends with them or not. Like, I love Dave Chappelle, and he had like a whole bit. It's on YouTube. You're definitely welcome to watch it. And it's about how he feels like people are sensitive to certain things. And I feel like that when you because this is the thing. A person was offended by a joke that he had made about them being in an interracial relationship while Dave Chappelle is literally in an interracial relationship. And the person said that he was being racist towards her, and he was just very like dumbfounded. Like, one, if you bought tickets to see a comedian, you probably should have looked at their material before you went to go and watch them, because I feel like that when you know what you're getting yourself into, then it's like not gonna be like a culture shock when you get there. The term snowflake in that essence is just trying to like, it is in no mean a positive word. Like, it is meant to literally offend people. For what? I don't know. The internet, it's a crazy place these days. But it's meant to basically highlight the hypersensitivity of Gen Z. And while do I think some people on Gen Z are sensitive? Maybe, but like, is it hypersensitive? Like, no. I think that we just like should not let people who are going to be racist, homophobic, sexist, all of the things, I feel like we shouldn't probably let those people have like platforms. Like, if you want to be openly racist, like, don't get mad when people tell you stop being racist, you know. I feel like that's simple math. To clarify, I mean that like every single comedian, every single entertainer has a certain platform. They have a certain audience that is catered to watch them. So there's no issue with a person having an audience that tolerates stuff that they do, but that person also should not get upset when people who don't watch their content find out what it is and then find that offensive. Like, you put it out there, you know. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So, simple 1 + 1 = 2 type mentality. So with the term snowflake, I don't like it. I do in no means think that it is like equivalent to like legitimate slurs, but I do think that it is a derogatory term used to silence people who are already most likely marginalized groups in the first place. I think it's like not a vibe. I don't vibe with that. And also, I want to really quickly pinpoint, because I know some people in the comments are going to be like, well, I think that you're just being sensitive, and the women shouldn't do entertainment. They should just be in the kitchen making me a sandwich. Like, Jimothy, do you know how to make a sandwich? If I gave you bread, peanut butter, and jelly, would you be able to make a sandwich? I don't know. That's just me. But there is a big difference between dark humor and quite literally being offensive. Like, all the shows I mentioned, all the comedians that I mentioned, they are not in my definition of what offensive is. And mind you, being offended is relative, I will say. But I feel like that also in terms of like being hypersensitive, I feel like that the older part of Gen Z, I'll say young millennials, are very, very heavily desensitized because we got a trial run on like the internet, like what the internet is now, and it was very easy for me to see a lot of bad stuff. Like, I'll never forget like me just trying to watch anime on my computer and then finding out that Emily is 5 miles away. If you don't know what that joke is, don't try to find out. That this is a family friendly channel. But what I will say is that I feel like a lot of people are more desensitized, if anything, because of the internet. And I think now younger people are trying to be like, hey, let's not accept this anymore. Hence why Shane Dawson was able to be Shane Dawson for so long, because people were just like used to it. No one should get used to like racism. But in terms of being dark humor versus being offensive, dark humor is defined as also a term called black comedy. I know that's not a black person being funny. That's just what it's called, black comedy. And it can also be known as dark humor, dark comedy, morbid humor, or gallows humor. And it's a style of comedy that makes light of a subject matter that is generally considered taboo, particularly subjects that are normally considered to be serious, painful, all these types of stuff. So for me personally, there's a lot of stuff I've gone through in my life, my cool 19 years. But I think that hearing a person make a joke about something that like you've gone through that like they haven't just does not feel right. Like, it doesn't. Like, if I saw someone make a joke about police brutality, like, would I think that was funny if it was from a person who probably would never deal with something like that? Probably not. I think that a big portion of dark humor is coping with things that are going wrong in your life. Like, I can make jokes about how I was bullied for not being black enough, which still baffles me. I let these people bully me for so long. But I can make jokes about people telling me that I'm whitewashed and that I'm not black enough. But, like, I would never want a person who is not in the same circumstances of me making a joke about being an Oreo. Like, that's a problem that I went through, not something that you went through. So it just, when a person makes a joke and makes something to be funny, to be made fun of, that immediately makes any person who's been through that feel invalidated, at least to me. Though I do laugh at a lot of jokes, I will say. But I think that it's important to, like, you know, acknowledge that you might be hurting someone's feelings. And while you might be like, oh, well, comedy is meant to make you laugh, comedy is whatever you want it to be, that's why I like to listen to comedians who make me laugh. Like, do I listen to comedians who I feel like are extremely offensive? No. I don't give them any energy. I don't tweet about them. I don't acknowledge them because they don't exist to me. I consume the content that I want to watch. And if I feel like something that I'm watching is, like, hurting my feelings, I'm not going to go and comment and make a whole, well, not me making a whole literally review about me being offended by a movie. That aside, the movie wasn't even good. But that aside, like, I make the decision to film whatever I want. I make the decision to watch whatever I want. So, like, I don't want to watch something that's going to make me feel bad. So, yeah. That's my opinion. So do I think this generation is more sensitive? No. I think that people are just more socially conscious of other people, and not being so self-centered and not caring about what words you say, how they impact other people, how they impact, you know, young people watching whatever you're doing. It's a lot that goes into things that you say on the internet that are there forever. Can I mention the amount of people that are getting canceled because of something that they said forever ago being, like, horrible? Like, you know, just think about what you're going to say and how that might hurt someone's feelings before you go ahead and put it out, because once it's out, it's out. And that's on period. But either way, I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, because it does actually really help small channels like mine. Make sure to also subscribe. I actually just hit 1.6 thousand subscribers, and I think I'm about to hit 1.7. My channel is growing, like, very fast. Like, it feels like every single video I film is like another milestone, so thank you guys. And yeah, so make sure to stay happy and stay healthy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.